Hi, it's John and welcome to the channel. 5:02 a.m., April the 25th, of course, with the big blue mug of coffee. 1, 2, 3, Election Day. So we're getting close to Election Day on Monday to vote if you haven't already. And I think the big story over the last 24 hours, if you're a conservative, I'm not sure the liberals are even concerned about this. They've had the Jedi mind trick played on them by Carney and the liberals over the last couple of months. The big story has been this Mark Carney lie regarding his talk with Donald Trump back on the 28th of March. I think something's being missed here by most people. This is where I try to be a little bit different. Something is being missed here, and it is structural when it comes to our election campaign. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. And by the way, I'm going to tell you who I think the rock star of the campaign has been so far, and it will surprise you. This guy has been a riot, and it's related to today's story. So what has happened here in the last 24 hours? A quick recap. So let's go back to the 27th. This is a story from the Canadian Broad Corp in castration, written by Catherine Tunney. Carney says he'll speak to Trump soon, promises to fight back on auto tariffs. And from the very same story, I'll read the last two lines. Carney has previously said he is open to a conversation if the president, who repeatedly taunts that Canada should become the 51st state, respects Canada's sovereignty. If he respects Canada's sovereignty. So the very next day, on the 28th, Carney has a discussion with Trump, and he says this about the call.
The president respected Canada's sovereignty today, both in his private and public comments.
So why, after his call with Donald Trump, did Mark Carney come out and say that? Because the narrative through this whole campaign has been this.
A new survey from Nanos Research for CTV News shows Mark Carney is the top pick to deal with U.S. President Donald Trump over Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and his fellow Liberal leadership candidate.
So the narrative from the Liberal bought and paid for media has been, and from the Liberal campaign and Carney himself, is that he's the best person to deal with Donald Trump in a crisis. Crisis. I wish we could count how many times Carney has said that word during his fear campaign, but he didn't get the respect. Donald Trump did not respect Canada's sovereignty, and he obviously did not respect Mark Carney, who is supposed to be the master negotiator, because he got caught in a pretty big lie.
Yes or no, did Mr. Trump bring up the 51st state in his call with you?
I said that he did. I said that he did. But the president, to be clear, the president respected Canada's sovereignty today, both in his private and public comments.
I asked you about this on March 28th after the call, and you said that President Trump respected Canada's sovereignty both privately and in his public conversations.
He did.
Were you being truthful?
He absolutely did. He absolutely did. Look.
So what is going on here? How could he possibly get caught in this lie? Well, he needs the 51st state thing because it's not working like it was a month ago. So now he needs to gin up the fear once again, just prior to Election Day on Monday. But I also think the Liberals are concerned about their poll numbers. I think they're worried that people are starting to catch on to Mark Carney and who he really is. Because have we really found out about Mark Carney, honestly, during this election campaign? If you're a conservative, you know who he is. But if you're a liberal, he's the best guy to stand up to Donald Trump, which brings us to the rock star of the election campaign so far. And the surprise is that it's Yves-François Blanchet, the leader of the Bloc Québécois. He was great during the English debate. He hammered Carney better than anybody. But Blanchet has been a rock star. He has been so amusing during this. And he had this to say about Mark Carney, because Blanchet knows who Mark Carney is, just like conservatives do, and people voting Liberal don't.
Seems more and more to have been a stunt. He wanted to make a statement. I am Mark Carney. I'm the best of them all. I'm a great negotiator. I have managed crisis in the past. I would change the world. Trust me. And it appears that it never happened. That the call was not what has been described afterwards. That there was no agreement, no support for Canada's sovereignty, no beginning for a deal, just the show of a man who wanted to pretend something which appears today not to be true. I believe many people in Canada and in Quebec will say, what the hell is that? And if that is not true, what else is not true?
The rock star of the campaign from an Albertan, the head of the Bloc Québécois, who wants to block pipelines from Alberta. But could you not just taste the condescension there? It was just terrific because Blanchet knows who Mark Carney is. Liberal voters still don't know who he is, but they're starting to catch on. Unfortunately, we have advanced polling here. This is one of the reasons why I don't think we should have advanced polling. A lot can happen in the final week of the campaign. And Carney, in that lie, revealed what was going on here. He pulled the wool over voters' eyes a month ago, saying he got respect, Canada got respect, when he didn't really get it at all. 7 million people voted last weekend. A lot of them voted Liberal, and they could have a bad hangover in about 20 days because they're going to find out who Mark Carney really is. And one of the things that I find indicative of this is I wonder if Liberal voters know that 10 years from now, they won't be able to buy the car they want because the Liberals are going to ban gas-powered vehicles. The story popped up yesterday. This is fantastic. This should have come up long ago to reveal who Carney is. Poilievre vows to scrap Liberal electric vehicle mandate. Poilievre said at a Halifax car dealership that the government has no place in the garages of Canadians. He's absolutely right. Do you get the reference of what that says there? Poilievre said at a Halifax car dealership that the government has no place in the garages of Canadians. If he actually said those words, he chose his words perfectly.
The view we take here is that there's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation.
I think Pierre Poilievre was thinking about that clip when he said those words about EVs. It's the only thing Pierre Trudeau said that I actually believe in. Do Liberal voters really know who Mark Carney is? He is the person who's going to ban your choice to buy a vehicle in 10 years. That's who this guy is. We still don't really know that. And that's the structural problem with our political system here in Canada right now. Mark Carney comes from out of country, hasn't been around in 10 years, is given the job as the Liberal leader. We knew before they even had a campaign he was going to win. He wasn't asked any tough questions. He wasn't vetted. He wasn't challenged by the other candidates. They knew he was going to win. He was given a riding, stole it from Liberal MP Chandra Arya, who was elected. He was given a riding, has never been elected to anything, never been vetted. And then he, who is now the Prime Minister, never elected to anything, has the shortest election campaign in Canadian history. And just now people are starting to catch on who this guy is because of the lie he told yesterday. And it's a big one. His whole campaign has been based on a lie that he's the best person to negotiate Donald Trump, and millions of people are going to vote for him simply because of that. They're going to find out in 20 days this guy is a freaking nightmare. You know it, and I know it. Thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. We're on to 26,000 subscribers, so please click on subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.